Time is it?
Hello, and welcome to Justified Jewel Podcast. I am your host, Joanne Cox. If you want to know further about this episode or anything that I'm involved in, just check out justifieddjewel.com. We have been doing episodes back to back, letting you get prepared for the politics that's coming about, for the voting that's coming about, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't always have the right questions to ask. So we are going to fill you in on some things that maybe you didn't realize that you can have hope. Maybe you can realize that you are the missing piece of the puzzle. But the great part about this is you will always have my same guest that is highly intelligent and so proactive when it comes to letting us know what we need to know. I would like to introduce to some and welcome to others, none other than Brian Weathers. Welcome again, Brian.
Thank you, Joanne. It's good to be here.
And just to let you know, this is episode 12. This is episode 12. Feel free to look at back at previous episodes. They will be here forever. That's how things work in the cloud, in the YouTube and Instagram. So, Brian, what are we talking about today?
Oh, today we're going to talk about how to give people back power back in the marketplace, improve life as consumers for consumers in
Yes.
the United States. We're doing these episodes, Joanne, to paint a hopeful picture for people of how we can have a bright and bountiful future in the United States. And as you're as a professional speaker, as you travel around, have you ever gone to book a hotel room and you think it's one price, and then you get to the checkout and they say, oh, by the way, there's this fee and that fee, and the price that you thought you were going to pay turns out not to be true.
Yes, that
And,
has
and
happened.
those junk fees, they creep up in all sorts of different places. And people hate junk fees, right? You say, tell me how much something costs, and then I'll decide if I want it or not, and
Mhm.
no change in the price later. And so there are some industries that are worse about this than others. But the Populist Act, the legislative package that I'm trying to get people to collectively bargain for in the 2026 election, the Populist Act would prohibit any sorts of junk fees. It would require honest pricing. The price you see is the price you pay, and so that consumers can don't have to be surprised, don't have to get sticker shock. And they can know what they're expected to pay. And so this would move us to a model too, where like other many other countries do, where taxes would all be included in the price. So
Mm,
once again, you don't see one price on the shelf and then you go up there and they say, oh, it's this much is how much you're expected to pay. Just
yeah.
tell us how much something is going to cost, and
Mhm.
that's it. Just one price, one and that's it. That would be a fairer way to deal with these things.
Because I know there are a lot of times when it comes to taxes, there's a certain tax on food, and then there's another number tax for clothing. And when you got these things in your cart, in your mind, you're not separating how much it's going to cost for that segregated section that you've got into the cart. And you can come up with taxes and just realize that you've spent, $8, $10 more than you expected to pay just because of taxes.
Yeah.
So having a cap on that and to just say, can you just tell me how much this costs? That would eliminate all of that. I would love for that to happen. Now, what do I need to do on that act, or what title, or what needs to take place so I can say, I want to write in on that?
Yeah, so a lot of these consumer protections are built into Title 11 of the Populist Act. The
Okay.
Populist Act has 13 different titles covering 13 different parts of life in the United States, and Title 11 is called Stack Honest Trade. The first 10 titles are about unstacking the systems that are stacked against us in the United States, and then at the end, the last three are we're building positive things. So we're going to stack honest trade. Something else we're talking about, Joanne, is, to just tell me how much something costs. Well, these days, in these days, there's something called surveillance pricing, which is you and I both might go online to buy something, and Amazon or whatever retailer might give us different prices. They might say, Joanne really needs this item, so we can charge her more. And Brian, we can give him a discount because, otherwise he might not he might not shop here. And they can, or they might see, yeah. So surveillance pricing. Airlines are talking about doing this where they say, "Oh, well, you really need this plane ticket? Well, we're gonna ratchet up the price and squeeze as much out of you as we can." Part of this comes in from just the amount of data that these companies collect on us for this individualized pricing. And it's all it's a big mess in a lot of ways for consumers.
Yes.
Because, how are you supposed how when you see that price, how do you know if it's a fair price or not? And if the same price is given to everyone, then that's sort of how markets work, right? Is that they will set a fair price that'll be fair to everyone. But when it's individual pricing, how do you know if it's a fair price or not? How are you supposed to tell? So that sort of surveillance pricing would be prohibited under the Populist Act.
Now, I did not know that. I did not know about the surveillance pricing. If you see me look down, I'm not ignoring Bryant or the camera. I just want you to know I am taking notes, and I hope you are too. Now, one of the big issues with this surveillance pricing, I don't understand, Bryant. Tell me now, you talked about one price, but now I'm talking airline. Okay, they know what I look up and they know what you look up. Big Brother's always watching us. And so you're saying that because I'm in need of, or because Joanne is impulsive and she's gonna buy it right away anyway. And Brian is gonna say, no, I'm gonna shop around. So they're going to give it to you at a lesser price because they don't want to lose you. Okay. So my question is, I've never heard of anything so ridiculous when it comes to the airlines. Now, I know that if I get ready to purchase an airline ticket today at 4 o'clock, at 4:15, it would be another price. Now, could they not let a price stay for at least one day? Because I now am going to travel with my girlfriend and I'm going to tell her the ticket is 450, but when I come back, it's 550. How can that be legal to change the same day?
Um, I guess it just is. But so let's talk more about airlines and some of their policies and pricing, right?
Okay.
And there is a whole subtitle in Title 11 called "Refriendlying the Skies," with a lot of consumer protections for people. Again, prohibiting the surveillance pricing on the airlines. Things like you can't charge families extra to sit together. More some other things like that, but also addressing competition in airlines, right? We live in North Carolina, and Charlotte is a huge hub for American Airlines, right? In Atlanta is a huge hub for Delta. And so that works great if you're going between two cities that, are connected like that. But it's really can be very difficult to find direct flights to many large cities if they are not if they're not hubs. And when one airline sort of controls a large block of slots in one airport, then it makes it harder for other airlines to compete there. And so, among the provisions of the Populist Act would put a cap of 30%, that no one airline could control more than 30% of the arrival and departure slots in an airline. Sorry, in an airport.
Okay. Okay. This is still about the airlines. If you can answer this, if my flight has been canceled, but it's not weather related. I know you can't do anything about the weather, but they cancel my flight, which means that there's not another flight coming in. Now it means I have to stay there and be like those people that I can't stay in the airport overnight. I'm scared. So I got to now stay in a hotel, but then when they rebook me, then I was first class, but now they don't have first class for me. And now they're saying that they can't give me my exchange money back, or it would be a lesser price than what I paid. Excuse me? I've already paid extra money because I had to stay in a hotel. And you can't tell me really why my flight was even canceled. Did you just overbook and throw me off? So how can that be? And how could I fight that.
Yeah. And so the Populist Act does include provisions to give customers greater rights when their flights are canceled to make sure that airlines are compensating them fairly. And I have to apologize, Joanne, I do not remember all the specific details of those provisions off the top of my head. Again, it's a 2,000-page bill, and
Yes.
I can look it up for you, but not this very second. Maybe I'll have to get back to you and give you the
It's
specifics on
okay.
that
You
one.
know I'm going to try you, and I have all these life experiences to throw at Brian.
Ab-
So the
well,
thing is
But
that
it's
we
not just
know,
you, Joanne. Airlines treat
yeah,
people like that all the time, right? And
yeah.
they do. And so how do we deal with this, right? And one of the ways we can do it is as citizens is we can tell the government we want better policy. We want things to change. We want to improve the consumer experience for people in the United States. And so the
That's it.
Populist Act will help us do that.
Yeah, improvements. That's what I'm about, improvement. And I had never heard of the friendly to the skies, the stack honesty trade. Never heard of that. Never. This is so good. That you are just so sharp. Thank you for sharing all of your knowledge with us. I just love all of this.
Well,
Um,
Joanne,
yeah,
I love the United States. We are a great country,
yes,
but we have so much wasted potential, and we could do better as a country. But the red team and blue team dynamic, it stops so much progress from being made, and we need a way to go around that. We need a way to fix it. And so that's what my campaign is about, is trying to bring us together around as Americans around shared goals, a shared vision, and then coming together to help us achieve that and so that we can improve the quality of life for all of us.
yes, full potential. Wow, we could be great. We could be absolutely wonderful. And we know that we are great, but we can be greater because that is why so many people from other countries are coming over here, maybe to get educated, maybe to get better health care or something of that nature. So why not up it to the American citizens by letting us be at our fullest potential and to treat us all fairly, work issues, health issues. We've covered the health and, all of these issues on other episodes. And I just so am into this populace that I just want to just start writing legislation. I mean, I'm just so on the political bag. Listen at me on the bag, but on this roster now because
So,
I didn't know what hope I had. I didn't know where to go. And people are thinking the things that I'm thinking, but they're not acting on these. So now that we have you, we know where to go, how to do it, and how this is going to function with us. So
so
let's go to strengthening the Federal Trade Commission.
well,
How
can I
does
bring it
that?
back to living up to our potential for a moment, and not just for
Oh yeah,
humans, but for the things that we buy. If you buy something and it breaks, well, what do? Can you fix it and help it live up to its potential, or you have to throw it away and go buy a brand new one? And so many products,
mhm,
you can't repair them, that the manufacturers make it extremely difficult. They won't sell you the parts that you need to fix it because they want you to buy a new one. And in
yes,
many states, many parts of the country, there is the right to repair movement that would require manufacturers to help people fix the products that they buy, that they own. This is this is a big deal for farmers where they have these high tech pieces of farm equipment, and they're very complicated machinery in the 21st century, right? They have complicated codes and things within them, and the manufacturers in some cases won't let the farmers fix their own products, and that just makes everything more expensive and puts more money in the pockets of the big giant corporations. And so the Populist Act establishes right to repair nationwide and says that it is an unfair business practice to sell somebody something and then not let them fix it if it breaks, and to not stand behind their product. So yes, so right to repair is included in the Populist Act in Title 11.
okay, this is not to repair, but what about this? Another life scenario. Okay. If I have a refrigerator and it is lasting, but I simply need a new filter, but they say, oh, we no longer carry those anymore. And I go, oh, well, can you tell me where? So I'm thinking the particular store doesn't carry. Oh, we no longer make those filters. Well, if my refrigerator is still running, then how in the world can you stop making the filter for it?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that fall up under that? Because is that's not considered a repair, but it sounds to me like they want me to buy another refrigerator.
It does sound like they want you to buy a new refrigerator, right? And it's not just refrigerators, right? Maybe you
Washing
know, maybe
machines.
well,
Yep.
and operating systems. You might know Windows 10. Microsoft stopped supporting it I think it was last year, right? So that tens of millions of people are still running Windows 10 on their computers, and Microsoft said, well, you have to upgrade to the next version, and if you have a computer that can't, well, then too bad. You probably just have to buy a new computer or you just have
Yep.
to be at risk. We're not going to give you security updates anymore. And there are tens of millions of people who are depending on this product that Microsoft sold them they
Mhm.
bought in good faith. And then Microsoft says, whoa, well, you better pay us some money or else maybe something bad is going to happen to you without your security updates. And so the Populist Act would make that an unlawful practice as well to stop supporting an operating system when more than 10 million people are still using it. And
Mm.
if you sell your consumers something that you when 10 million people are still using it, you got to keep supporting your product.
Yes. Yes.
And then
That
so I don't
sounds
know if there's
good.
10 million people using your brand of refrigerator or not, Joanne.
But see, that's going to be a clause too, because I'll never know how many people still have that refrigerator.
Yeah,
You know.
right. Well, in the modern era where you can find so many parts online, there is a demand for, small businesses to manufacture because you can do sort of small manufacturing, 3D printing kind of thing these days. So you could have little boutique shops that will manufacture filters for Joanne's refrigerator and other specialty items as well.
Yes, yes. And there's that joke about, can you, what is it that you can catch or whatever? And it's something to do with the refrigerator running or something. I don't
As
know.
a father, when you said it was my refrigerator running, that's the first thing I wanted to say was, well, you better go catch it.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm glad I brought it up because that's what you were thinking. But we just have one more statement that you need to act on. In the Populist Act tilts the economy back toward the consumers. That falls up under that. Is that correct?
Absolutely. There's all sorts
Okay.
of ways where things are tilted against us as consumers and in favor of big giant corporations. And so the Populist Act is really about addressing those concentrations of power in corporate power, breaking up the big tech companies, and tilting things back in favor of consumers and in favor of competition. I'm not sure I've said it for a little while, but the Populist Act, the Populist is an acronym, Joanne, and it stands for the Partnership of Ordinary People Undermining Lobbyist Influence for Societal Transformation. That we, the people, when we organize and unionize, we can transform our society. We can restack the systems in favor of the average person, and yes, and put us on a path to a bright and bountiful future.
I'm always asking you to define things, and that is something that I did not ask you to say. We might need to put that on our backdrop as to what is populist, you know? So I think maybe next time we'll have it so that the provisions are there so that people know what that stands for and what it means.
So I think
Sometimes
what I just heard, Joanne, is you'd like to talk about populism for an episode and the history of that word, and I think we could
yeah,
probably
I,
do
I
that.
mean, maybe that should have been the first episode, you know. And it's like, why should I even want to do that? And what is it? You know, they keep talking about the red and the blue. So we're gonna end that just with us being up in the air about maybe another episode that we're gonna talk about. And I'm gonna say you need to stay tuned to just find out because I'm not telling you, and Brian will not tell you. But I'm taking this opportunity right now to say thank you for tuning in. And Brian, thank you for continuously being here on this much needed topic.
Thank you,
So
Joanne.
until then, we will see you on our next episode. Again, please subscribe and please invite a friend. So see you on the next episode.